Are you ready? Can Crush Us. It don't really get no better than this the podcast that you're looking for if you're really heavy into wrestling. Hosted by the Mark. Energy that's so amazing. Gotta keep it entertaining. Rep the Can Crusher Nation. Yeah, you know what's going down in the ring. Lights out when you hit a ding ding. Knock them out like boom bada bing. Hold it down, you can crown me the king. Got a shout out to the Miz and Duke the Dumpster. We choke slamming everybody. Power driving, hit them with a face buster. Yeah, this the show you need and it ain't no need for waiting. Mark, hold it down for the Can Crusher Nation. All about wrestling and keep it entertaining. Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. Time to break them, let's go. Yeah, Can Crushers. Yeah, Can Crushers. Let's go.
Hey, this is Jumpin' Jim Brunzell, and my favorite podcast is Can Crushers. It should be yours, too.
Ooh, that was terrible. I hit puberty.
It really was. Listen, I've just got done doing a basketball game. We're late. Not that you guys know that we're late, but we're late on our part. That was putrid. It wasn't even terrible.
Yours was way better than mine. I have no excuse, so I don't know what's going on over here.
We'll pick it up.
We'll pick up the action here, guys.
Welcome to Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. I am Mark the Mark. That is Sir Michael Jenks. Hope you guys had a great week of wrestling and everything. Listen, you guys know we're going to touch on it, so we'll get there in a second. So let's get to introductions and how to do's and what have you done this week and da-da-da-da-da. But it was a horrible week.
Yeah.
Outright in wrestling. But we'll get there. Personally, Jenks, how was your week? You go first because everybody knows. Yes.
Yeah. My week, can't complain on my front. Niece is battling something, stomach condition. We thought she had appendicitis this week. All the signs were there.
No.
I was going to shit my pants if that was going to be it. I was going to text you immediately. Ends up, well, right now, she has a lot of swelling around her appendix, so they're taking a look at it. Apparently, it's an infection, some sort of viral infection thing that's affecting your stomach and that. She's on medicine. She's taking that. They're talking to doctors in Pittsburgh just to make sure everything's kosher and that, but it seems it's going to be a long time for her. She's in a constant state of, nagging pain right now. So, year to year, day to day, just all we can do. She's happy. Hey, she's in pain, but she's happy. And she's like her normal self, so she's taking it on the chin like a trooper. Unfortunately, you live in my family, you're tough as fucking nails by the end of the day, so that's exactly what this little girl's doing. So all the power to her. But she's going to get through this. And so that's been the crux of my week. I actually went into work Tuesday to work in office, got called 5 minutes. I was there 5 minutes. My niece calls me about the stomach issues. Kristen, my sister's like, I'm here. Can you take her? Can you get out of work and work from home? Absolutely. Walked up to my boss, said, I got to go. Niece is in pain. She's like, get out of here. I've been working from home the rest of the week. So just staying with her, making sure everything's good with her and that. So luckily, everything seems to be okay right now. By no time. I think she did get an appointment in Pittsburgh on Tuesday. So they're going to go down there, get everything scoped out, make sure there's nothing that was missed by the doctors up here. So see what happens. But yeah, fun times.
This is what happens when we don't cross notes because Mark literally just got done doing a basketball later on tonight. And holy shit, now I feel about this big. And if you can't see me, you can't see me.
No, don't feel that big. It's not.
I know, but listen. I love your family like you love mine. And
I know.
One of these days, God damn it, we're going to start off with good stuff.
We are. We absolutely are. Hey, this has been not a bad week outside of that. I will say that. It was, news and wrestling world aside, this was a good week if we go down that path, but it's a tough week for the Missy and the little lady, so we'll get through this. But You'll bounce. Yeah.
That's what you do.
Yep. So how was your week? How are you doing? How are you feeling?
Got the clearance. I went back to work Tuesday. I'm good to go. No more spitting up blood. No more jumping in and out of the garbage truck. Being a good boy. Got my hand held all weekend. Pissed off I missed some basketball games, but I did what the doctor ordered. Man, I did the right thing and paid off.
Yeah.
Go back to the doctor next week, hopefully to get cleared to go back to work. In general, it was an okay week. I did some basketball games. Side partners. Somebody's in the hospital with the COVID. That's why I actually had to do a game Friday night. That's why we're late. You guys don't understand. Like that bothers me. Walking in, or hoping everybody's all right on that aspect.
Yep.
I'll cover more games if need be. You're always amazing to work around, stuff like that. So yeah, it was just a good week. A good week in general.
That's good. That is a plus. Hopefully your coworker feels better. They're in a better place next week in that. Yeah, why wouldn't I work around it? Figured out, hey, listen, today I got a couple beers in my system. It was good. It rebounded. We're in good shape here. So we're ready to go.
I'm ready for that, by the way. I'm ready for that. Maybe that's what is going to be on my docket next week. Not shit-faced, but a couple beers in the system, do a nice Royal Rumble prediction of what's coming up. I've actually thought more about next week's show than this week's show because I know prediction show we kind of get jazzed up about.
Yep.
And listen, all right, we got to go. We got to go there.
Yeah.
Because it's actually holding me up of actually talking, essentially. We did the non-conformities. How are you? Yeah, let me slap your hand.
Yeah.
Tuesday was a rough day.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows by now we're probably one of the last, but we'll get our 2 cents in. Jay Briscoe, man, passed away Tuesday. Doing family stuff, bringing his girls back from cheerleading in a car. Everything is now kind of out that, the other driver swayed in, both hit head on, and both drivers passed, and the girls, have had surgeries and, conditions and everything. Man. Now, I didn't, go up and give him a high five, but just saw Jay walking by them, saying hi to everybody at WrestleCade in November. And just watched that dog collar match and just, ROH stuff since it's getting back out there and everything. And he's 38.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a tough pill for me to swallow. And I don't want to hog, but let me hog. And then I'll let you
hog away.
So that happened Tuesday night. And it happened on my way to a basketball game. So I was in the mindset that I was going to the basketball game, and I'm like, I'm going to have to research all this when I get home after the basketball game. I looked up some stuff during the game, whatever. I'm like, and a lot wasn't coming out until Wednesday. Well, I'm now driving the garbage truck Wednesday, and shout out to Dave LaGreca and everybody at Busted Open, because this is essentially where my mind got back around to it. And Busted Open started at 9, and they played the 10-bell salute, and they had Tommy Dreamer and Mickey James on the show as well. Both have been in ROH with Jay, and they talked about his brother. They talked about this, that, and the other thing. They had fans come on the show, and that's when everything hit. Because for Mark, that was it. I'm looking in the camera of the garbage truck, and get ready, because the only other person that knows this is my wife. I'm looking in the camera of the garbage truck, and I see, a 35-year-old coworker who's having back problems, who's going to get, shots in his back, and is getting acupuncture. And then I am listening to a radio show about a 38-year-old man, wrestler, great shape, family guy, that has essentially done everything in the business that you can do, and his life is gone. And I'm 45, and I'm now crying in the truck, questioning, what have I done? What can I do? This isn't for me anymore. And not thinking anything ill will or anything, but I'm like, what is going on? So all of this has me. I don't know. It's just so much thoughts in my head that I call my wife and I'm like, I think I'm putting my 2 weeks notice in, and I'm going to start living my life to live my life because I don't know. And she's like, what? Don't do your 2 weeks notice, but start looking for a job. And we don't care. And I don't say this out of ill will or anything. We don't have a pot to piss in, but I was always worried about making money and doing this. It's not about that anymore. When something like this can happen and you're just not happy at a job or anything, and this is where I'm taking this. So I don't know if it's the right thing, but it's the right thing in my head. I find a job because I've applied Erie, Johnstown, Pittsburgh, anywhere in radio. And it could be 2 cents a day. I have to live for love and live for life and live for everything. And that's where this has all brought me, because that's what Jay did. Jay did that. Jay lived his life for wrestling and then still made time for the family. One of his last posts that Jay had was him and his daughters doing her cheerleading competition dance.
Yeah.
I don't do that with my son. So it was kind of a knock. I'm like, I'm just taking everything and it's pushing it into my life, and I need to live more and enjoy more and doing that. And listen, yeah, the show's called Can Crushers, but I can rebrand in a second. I'm not a fan of being a garbage man. It rained all week. I can't do this. I'm 45. My buddy's fucking body is breaking down. I have not lived. So if I've learned anything this week, I'm going to start living. So Can Crusher Studio may be moving. It is really, hey, indeed, I have tons out there. Let's get it going. Yeah, I really looked at life hard this week, Jenks. Essentially where I was, because I'm like, 2 things in my life consistently, wrestling and this other guy in the back of the garbage truck, and both are shattering right in front of me.
Yeah.
And then I don't know how I'm going to bounce back from this. I'm lying to everybody. The only other person that knows this is my son. My bowels have not been right since December 15th. My scar, you know when your hand goes to sleep?
Yeah.
That's what my scar feels like. I'm sure that's not right. Food doesn't taste the same. I'm sure I have some other issue going on as well. I've lied for about a month now. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with me. So we're going to start living. And it starts today. So if anything, this sounds morbid. Thank you, Jay, for waking me up.
Yeah.
Thank you, Zach, for showing me it's at any time, anything can happen. So it's been a rougher week than 5 minutes ago when I just said, because my mind is really racing.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. I mean, you never know what's going to happen next, minute to minute, day to day. Money can buy you things, but it never buys you that happiness or that fulfilling nature that you want, what you want to chase your dream after. There's always that hole. There's always that passion project that people have, want, need, try to buy. And it takes a lot to get the courage up to say, I'm chasing that dream. Whether you think it's because of monetary reasons you can't do it, whether you think it's because the world is against you and it doesn't make sense to the world, whether, it could be mounds of excuses you make for yourself. You never know. I tell you this, it's best to have the support system around you that you can make that leap of faith. You can go forward and do that. Mark, I think you have that. And I think it comes, and to circle it back to what happened with Jay. Jay had that his entire life. He chased his passion project. He chased everything he wanted to do in life. From them boys growing up in TNA to ROH to doing it all, coming up against FTR in a dog collar match last month. Them boys chased their dreams. They talked about Terry Funk not wearing mouth guards. They've done it all. Jay's won the ROH world title from a long lost player named Kevin Steen way back when in the day. But at the end of the day, them boys turned out to be them family guys. Lack of better terms, but that's what they turned out to be. And they were passionate. Their passion for the industry turned into their passion for their families. And we saw that in videos that Jay posted all around his social media, talking up his kids, talking up his daughters, talking up everything about that. He loved them with a passion. He loved his brother. He loved his wife, loved everybody. The mountains of remembrance, tweets, things has been unbelievable. Unbelievable. There's still, and not to put a damper on it, there's still those negative assholes out there that keep bringing up that stupid tweet from 10 years ago.
Fuck yourself.
And fuck the WB because they prevented a tribute show from happening. But they bring up that one small thing that has been denounced, has been talked about, apologized for, rectified. Things have happened since then that have proven that those weren't true when he did them. But at the end of the day, you have a community of individuals coming forth and saying, this guy was one of the best in the business, one of the greatest behind the curtains, one of the most supportive, one of the most family-driven people. You wouldn't know it if you looked at him, but that wasn't the point. When you're in wrestling, you're supposed to be the craziest motherfucker on the face of the earth.
They were, listen, we didn't talk about him a lot on here, and shame on us, but right. They were characters. There's my air quotes.
Yep.
In wrestling, and they were some of the best characters. He was, because his Mark was still alive. Is still alive. But yeah, that was his character.
Yeah.
You want to know real Jay? Follow him on social media.
And then you get the full picture. And that's a beautiful thing about social media these days. It's a lot of negativity, don't get me wrong. But on social media, you see how true people are in the wrestling business. You understand where they come from and who they are and just what type of family person they are. Because they're not going to play their role 24/7. Ain't nobody doing that anymore. It's not kayfabe. This is not kayfabe. This is not 1990s, 1980s where you play the role, you play the part. You can't. So, circling this back, what happened Tuesday was just a tragic accident that occurred in the wrestling spectrum. I didn't hear about it until I was just laid down for the night, and I finally opened up Twitter, and then I saw it, and I'm like, this is not real. None of this is real. And then you scroll. And you scroll, and your heart gets heavier, and you just keep saying, God damn it.
Essentially, that's why I didn't Tuesday night. I browsed, but I didn't scroll because, again, I knew work, and I'm like, this is going to send me down a wrong path. And it's not like I woke up Wednesday and I'm like, all right, I forgot everything.
No.
It's still there. But you try to focus. You know you want to go back there and relive or rewatch. And I just turned Busted Open on, and the guys were like, why are you crying? I'm like, you guys don't understand. And I'm not being disrespectful. I'm like, you guys just don't understand. I have a lot going through my mind right now. Now this, and I didn't want to tell them, I'm watching you die on the back of a garbage truck when your back is broke.
Right.
A wrestler passed away that had nothing to do with wrestling, being a family man.
Yeah.
I'm old enough to be your guys' brother, an uncle or whatever. And I'm not making this about me, but I want to know who else felt like that. Like, am I the only one? Is that selfish that I did? Because I'm like, it's just so much going through my head. And for a day or so, I didn't tell Kelly. I'm like, I need some time. And I started applying and doing other things way before I told her. And then she's like, I don't understand. You're a different person. So she sat me down. She's like, what is up? Had that conversation. She's like, let's go.
Yeah. Listen, it's not selfish. You're sitting there and you reevaluate things. You reevaluate things. There was a family involved in this. It wasn't even just Jay. It was a whole family. It was his daughters and that. It makes you reevaluate a lot of different things. Because you sit there, you think you have it somewhat figured out. You think you have it, oh, you know what? For an example, Ethan's a teenager. He's doing his own thing. You know, we talk sometimes, you know, but he's doing his own thing. He's independent, whatever. You let your relationship processes, okay, that's fine. And that is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Because my God in heaven, me and my niece, Abrea, she doesn't talk like over the top. She'll run my ear off for the first hour so she can get it all out from school. And then when she's over here, done, over with, buried, sketching, ask for ramen noodles, and that's it. So, but you just come to feel that way. And I don't think it's wrong for you to reevaluate things in your life and say, my priority needs to be, how do I do better by me? How do I do better by my family? Am I being the happiest I can be when I come home and talk to them? Am I just down in the dumps all the time? What am I doing? You know what I mean? You go through those emotions.
You're seeing my face. The fans are not. So you know, you're hitting a point.
Yeah. You self-reflect and you just self-reflect and say, what do I need to do? What do I need to do to be the best for everybody around me? Now, when I heard the news, I'm still processing a lot of it. It's one of the things I can say when I look back on the past couple months for me. I'm happy for this reason, not because of everything that happened, but I'm happy because my niece and I wasn't picking her up from school anymore because it didn't necessitate it. So I didn't see her that often. It was like maybe once every couple weeks. We were kind of two ships in the sea. Even though she lives down the block from me, we just didn't see each other. The one day, and I don't think I told anybody this, and I'm probably going to break down. The one day I picked her up from school. She looked at me and started crying. And I go, what is wrong? And she goes, we don't hang out like we used to. I didn't realize that was hitting her that hard. And it made me cry, and I'm tearing up on here. But I love you too.
Love you, brother.
And it hit me like a brick wall. Holy shit. I thought we were good the way we were, but obviously I'm missing the mark here. So we made it a pact every week for a few hours a week. We go to dinner. Wherever she wants to go, tell me where you want to go. You just want to get pizzas for the night? We stay in. We can do that. Watch movies. I watched Turning Red and Inside Out. I don't know how many times over a few weeks.
Cool.
But it happened. Now we're playing video games every week now. We're playing Little Nightmares and Little Nightmares 2. She's showing me these wikis, videos. We're talking about it. We're having discussions. We're bonding again. Because that was something that we needed to do again that had gotten away from us. So seeing the video of him dancing with his daughters and the cheerleading routines warmed my heart, broke my heart, that when hopefully she recovers from everything, because she's still in critical condition, guys, we need to get the prayers out there for her.
Yeah.
She can look back fondly on that. She's going to be sad for a long period of time. I think every day about my father since he passed. I know you think about it every day about your mother since she passed. It never gets easier. It just hits you differently after a while. Yeah. And sometimes it brings a smile to your face, and sometimes it doesn't.
It cripples you. I'm going to be honest, it cripples you. I heard a song.
Yeah.
Wednesday, right after me breaking down about Jay and my life, I had to drive to the dump. And listen, when I drive to the dump, I drive past the cemetery my mother is in. So me driving this last month, and it's not that I don't go there often or anything, but Wednesday after I have this breakdown, and I'm now driving to the dump, a song hits. Fire me now if you're on the Ridgeway Borough Council and you hear this. I don't care. As soon as that song hit, on the way home, I parked the fucking garbage truck outside of the cemetery, walked in and said, I need you for 5 minutes, Mom.
Yeah.
I stood there. It helped.
Yep.
Really did. And got in the truck and went away. So, listen, that's what I'm going to get fired about. Cool. Because I know people saw me. And we shouldn't. I'm off the road. It was safety enough. But they're like, why is there a garbage truck at the cemetery?
Yeah.
Because I was seeing my mom. And I needed a mental health 5 minutes.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you one bit. The amount of times, before I started my current job I'm at now, the amount of times I stopped at my father's grave just for 5 minutes. And like I take my mother there regularly so she can go visit him, put a wreath out there, things, because she always does that. She likes to keep it beautiful, which is fantastic. We'll keep it up. I'm going to keep it up whenever she inevitably passes away. We're going to be doing it. But it was always, I needed him. It didn't matter if nobody was talking to me. I was going to talk to him for 5 minutes just because I needed it. That's all it was. And you have to do that sometimes. And there's anybody that has a cold emotion or doesn't feel anything coming out of this kind of is it you might have everything in life and you're fine with that? That's perfectly fine. But it just makes you.
I'll stir the pot real quick. If you do, you still have to reevaluate yourself. You really don't have you never really have everything in your life because you always want more, or you're lacking something and you're covering it up. Listen, we're being completely honest with you right now.
Yeah.
That at this point right now, my life isn't. I don't mean anything I'm gonna do anything, but my life is in shambles because of what happened Tuesday. Because I don't feel like I'm doing enough.
Yeah. And to that point, Mark, you don't feel it now, and you may not for a couple weeks, months, whatever it is. But the people that love you are still around, and we're gonna reaffirm for you, yeah. But you're still gonna have that mentality because I'll have it. I'm gonna sit there and like, God damn, like with my niece, love her to death, but my God, that hurt, and it still pains my mind every time. And it wasn't trying to be separative. It burns, and it wasn't that I was doing it on purpose or anything. She was doing her own thing. She had her own routine starting school, and it was fine. It was dandy. Hey, it was what it was. I was just getting back to work. Things happen, but it burns, and you feel it months and months, and you continue to reevaluate things and where things go from there. And you're in a position where you have the family, but you're like, I just can't. There's something missing. There's something I need to do. Something I need to accomplish to fulfill my life. I'm in a position where I'm on the exact opposite end of that spectrum because I'm doing something day to day that I'm like, okay, I love this. I can go in here. I'm not going to complain too much. People might frustrate me, but hey, you know what? Screw it. It's fine. I'm helping people out. Great. But I don't have the family aspect of it. And when you see that, now, don't get me wrong. I see that in the person I'm with now. It can be a thing in the future, and I probably will be, but it's not there yet. So to me, and I always wanted that picture perfect, at least have some sort of family started mid-20s. Here I am knocking on mid-30s door, no family. I got a dog, Bailey, that loves to put belly up on the couch every night and won't cuddle me, but it's not the same as having a little Jenks running around full beard in that.
Don't knock our dogs because both of these they're in the studio right now have gotten me through everything. I know we're joking. I know. And listen, I love my dog. In 2020, I would not have gotten through
that year without that dog, listening to me just like rant and rave and do all my stuff as I was stir crazy in the house. But at the end of the day, you do evaluate things and you understand family is everything. And I said it before and I will say it again. Family's not only blood. It is your friends. It is people your neighbors. It can be coworkers if you're that close with them. It can be anybody that you're close with that you trust, love, care for 100%. That is your family.
Agreed.
Have them by your side. Have them close. Keep them close. It's just the way it goes. You may be fighting. You may be having issues. It will pass. It will pass.
Yep.
It shall pass. Get your pride, stick it in your back pocket, or shine it up real nice. Turn that sumbitch sideways and stick it straight up the air's candy ass, because just send it away.
We'll be talking about him soon, by the way, too.
We probably will be. Spoilers. But that's just it. Your family is who you love and who you need in the times that you desperately need them. And you may not think you're doing well by them, but you probably are, because those people are still in your life because of how well you do by them or how much they care and respect you.
We're yin and yang to each other. We
Yeah.
really are, because I'm trying to break this around to bring it back.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Jay and his career a little bit, but I had a feeling this is where this talk was going to go with us this week.
Yeah.
Once I spitted it out. We're a yin and a yang. You love your job. You're happy about it. And that's what gets you through. And we're not bouncing anything off each other. I have the family that's there. And like, I want that job that you have. I don't want your job.
Right.
I want that job in my life.
Right.
Have it be anything, because I don't have it. Financially, this job does take care of everything it needs to be. Fuck it anymore is where I'm at.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, I'm not putting words in your mouth. You're like, I've known Mark for, I don't know, fucking 10, 15, I don't know, I remember how many long, 10 years, 13 years, whatever. And I've always had that family. You know, you met me with Ethan and Kelly, essentially, at Seawolf City. And we've had that. And I don't know if that's something you're always like, well, he's a train wreck, but he still has a wife and a kid. And this is something, like you just said, that's something you always had. You have great family values from your mom, your dad, your sisters, and all that. You're getting there.
Mm-hmm.
You see a tunnel with your loved ones and essentially raising your niece. So you see that path.
Yeah.
And I'm jealous, because you, being that younger than me, still see you have your job, you have the path, everything's aligning. Selfish, Jenks. I told you I'm selfish. I have that, and I had my family in my back pocket. Don't have that other track lining up yet, and that's why I'm jealous of you. I'm jealous of my best friends. I'm jealous of people across the street. I'm a very jealous human being, and it hurts. And then I start putting doubt, or I should have done this. Jenks, you know I'm a family man, and I will quote about that till the day I die. I'm a very family man. I sat in the hospital for 11 days and watched my mother die. I've done 5 with my grandmother, watched her die. I held somebody as they died after they jumped off of a wall onto my car. I will be there until the end. I told my wife I will kill her before I cheat on her. I will. I won't kill her, but I'm not.
We get what you're trying to say. We get what you're saying.
Right. I just put a block on my whole thing. It's just something that I can't get past, because I want that other part of my life. And I want to pinpoint, I was at Erie and then things came up, so I had to leave. Or I could have had a job in Birmingham. And I'm not saying this. Mom got sick. I come back to my family. Could have had a job in Altoona. Mom got sick and passed. I could have had, and it's, why don't I take that step? Because I care too much about my family. And I will always gloat that I do. And I know they always have my back. I'm just jealous.
You're jealous of my job. I'm jealous of your family. Like the extended.
And it's not a bad thing. I'm not saying we're horrible human beings for
No, and we're not. We're definitely not. But the point we're both trying to make here is no matter what path you're on, there's always this goal that seems unattainable, or this dream that you have down that you're trying to stare down, you're trying to catch, you're trying to capture so that you can feel the fullest you want to be in life. Both of us are chasing it. It's different dreams. It's different things that have it. Now, let's tie this back to Jay a little bit. I said it when I first started talking before the rant, and now I'm going to bring it back to it. The man had his dream job. He was in the business that he loved, the profession he loved. He had a family that he loved, that he cared for, that he wanted to be with. I'm sure he probably wanted to be there with them more often than he wanted to be in the business. And this past year, no matter, you can go through the controversy with the tweet and everything, but he did get the opportunity, I think, to be with them more often this past year, which was a blessing in disguise that nobody knew would be needed, basically, as we move into this. But Jay, the family man, being the supportive father, being the supportive man that he is, keeping the dream alive, being there for his brother, it was sad to see him pass. It was sad to hear about his passing. It was sad to see that someone, and it reaffirms again, good people die young, and it happens more often than not. And that's where people, Mark and I included, reevaluate things that have happened in our lives, because I think for a lot of us, it was, holy shit, man, this guy was 38. I'm almost 38. Or, maybe if you're
45,
you're 45, or even if you're early 20s, you're sitting there like, oh my God, that's only 16 years away, 17 years away. That time frame is very, very short. Not a lot of people realize that. And to soak in and have everything, and then to have it ripped away from you, and you not even know it, because let's be honest, his family lost a lot that day. They lost him, but they lost more than him. They lost a sense of direction, a sense of path forward, because listen, you lose a father or mother in a family dynamic, people get lost very easily, very quickly, no matter who it is. It doesn't matter if that person was 75 or 38. Your family dynamic will change, and you will feel lost for a long period of time. And for those of you out there that have lost a mother, a father, sister, brother, anything like that, you know that pain.
Oh yeah.
A friend, anything, you know that pain, you know that suffering that they're going through right now. Props, I don't know where it's at right now, but I saw the GoFundMe up for his family. I think it's past where it needed to be, but
blown out of the water, which is awesome.
Well, that's fantastic. It'll help them, but also remember that GoFundMe does not bring back what they're missing. It brings back a memory of him, and it helps pay for expenses for him. But it just reaffirms the love that people had for him, and that can in itself be a sense of comfort for his family in that.
I want to, we'll move forward off of this, but I want to say one more thing. And we're praying for Jay's family, wife and kids, yes, but we also want to pray for Mark and his family, because, man, Jenks, this is horrible. Your brother died the day before your birthday.
Yeah.
So how do you take, and I don't know this, but I could ask my brother if he wasn't not talking to anybody in the family. How do you take your birthday now, the rest of your life, knowing that your brother passed the day before that? Essentially, my mom passed the day before my brother's birthday. I've never had time to process, once we sat down and said, man, I'm sorry. Not that we could have done anything, and not that, Mark could have done anything. And listen, there was another life lost too.
Yeah.
The other person driving.
Yeah.
I know we're a wrestling podcast and, we're focusing on Jay and his family and everything, but that whole family is in shambles now too. It's that quick.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. So we'll say this again at the end of the show. Make sure you tell your loved ones you love them, because you never know. Like, it's that bad. And I'm not saying cheerleading bad, but cheerleading, an everyday occurrence. Go get your kids from cheerleading, bring them home. Okay. Go get Ethan from work. Okay. Go get your niece. Go get Bailey. Go get whatever. We put all these actions and thoughts as lickety split. I'll be right back. Reevaluate.
Yep.
There's things more important than money and PlayStations and stuff like that. And there are usually two bums in my house sitting in there on the couch or up playing video games. That's all that really matters in life. And I'm not directly. I have people on the phone right now. I have friends and family out everywhere. But it is, take the pictures. Take the extra pictures. Don't listen to TLC. Chase your waterfalls. Follow your arrow. Do that stuff. Years go by fast. Days and hours drag on, especially if you have an 8-hour workday. But I'm telling you, you just don't know.
Yeah.
So live your life. If you have to get in debt, screw it. Get in debt. Get out of it. However you have to. Enjoy life. It is too short to have a pain in your heart for, I hope, for 45 more years for me, if not more.
Yeah.
That we didn't get to do whatever we did.
Yep.
So,
yeah. I couldn't agree more.
So Jay, rest easy. We love you. Thank you for everything you brought. ROH, 21 years into business, champion after champion after champion. Guys, if you do have SiriusXM, I mean, I know, whatever, they're a conglomerate bigger than us and all of that, but if you do have that, run back and listen to Wednesday's show of Busted Open and just listen to the fans calling in and crying, and LaGreca was unbelievable, and Mickie James shouldn't even, and I love her, and if this gets to Mickie, I'm sorry, shouldn't even have been on the show. She couldn't put two and two together, how distraught she was. Tommy Dreamer ran that show, and it was just a different show than they've had. Jenks, we've talked about, passings of legends, Kamala, or, just a list of people on the show. We've talked about people who have passed that are legends. It just hits different when it's 38, and he's got years, even in the business, let alone life.
Yeah.
Just, again, make sure you tell your loved ones you love them, because you never know.
And yeah, it does hit different when it's 38 in the business. Guys, when Eddie Guerrero passed, my God in heaven, everything stopped in the wrestling world. Owen, my God, Owen derailed a lot of things just mentally. Like, how do you recover? How does the show go on? There's so many things that can happen, and it can be currency, whatever you want to go with. Just love your people. Tell them you love them. Be with your family. Be with your friends. Just enjoy life, like Mark said. because you never know when they're going to exit your life for good. Death comes for everyone. It's either today, tomorrow, 60, 70 years, or if my girlfriend has her way, 95 years from now for me. That's not going to happen, but it's her wish. And God bless her, she wants to put up with me for that long. I can barely put up with myself half the day.
95 more years.
She wants me for 140, 30, whatever the hell it is, but she's got a she might have things wrong with her. But anyway, I love her. She does not. But at the end of the day, be there for your loved ones. Spend the time. Make the most of your time with your loved ones. And make the most of your time enjoying what you love. Whether that's pursuing your dream job, watching wrestling, watching Rumble 24/7, 365, or whatever it is. Just enjoy it. Play your video games. Yeah. Play video games. Play with your children. My God.
Fuck your dogs.
Be a crazy Cleveland Guardians fan that talks about bird drones for the live long days. Do what you want. As long as it makes you happy and you are doing your best, God bless you and do it. Rest easy, Jay. And peace and prayers to your family as well. And prayers out to the other victims' families in this instance.
All right, guys. We'll do commercials after the next one. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to recap, and we have something fun to talk about when we come back.
This is referee Joe Mandek, and you're listening to Can Crusher Podcast, the podcast that opens the proverbial can of whoop ass.
And welcome back to Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. Mark the Mark, Sir Michael Jenks. Thank you guys for that. We took a little bit of extra break here on our end, decompose, talk a little bit. Thank you. That warms my heart that you guys were down that path with us. It's been a rough week, but out of all of that, this guy, Sir Michael Jenks says, well, let's tell you. What did you came up with this, so you get all the glory.
That's fair. So I said to Mark, thinking back on it, Monday's a big occurrence. This upcoming Monday is Raw 30. Now, the actual
is
Raw
that 30? I thought it was Raw XXX. I thought it was.
That's after 10 o'clock. So 8 to 10 is Raw 30. 10 to 11, DX comes back and they give us that State of the Union speech that they had way back when, many moons ago. But
Well, see you next week.
Yeah, see you next week, guys. But it's Raw 30 on Monday. I think it's 111 was the actual anniversary of it, if I'm correct. But I reached out to Mark and I said, you know what? We got to talk about this. What is our top 5 Raw moments for the past 30 years of Monday Night Raw? And how hard is it to narrow down? Because I will say this. I think I listed 10 top of my head. And I'm like, these are what I remember. And now I have to narrow it down to 5. And I'm like, this is difficult as all hell. But Mark?
I didn't put them in any order.
I didn't either. Well,
I can't. Because listen, there's moments, there's matches, there's controversy. And listen, there's 3 that just rip your heart apart.
Yeah.
So all of those are combined. So I'm like, here are 5 of my favorite moments. I cannot give you 5 favorite that I held at gunpoint. I'd be like, shoot me. I can't tell you my number 1.
I couldn't either.
30 years.
It is.
30 years you want me to tell you number 1 overall. You're crazy.
I completely agree. I'm not saying I want number 1 overall because I couldn't fucking do that. I was getting to the point of I named 10 off the top of my head and I looked at it and I go, I don't know if I could pick 5 that could fucking go raise above these ones. But do you just want to go back and forth, name moment back and forth?
We'll see what we have and
You go first. I want to hear what you have first here.
One of my favorites all time is the birth of the 1-2-3 Kid. The whole Razor Ramon is Sean Waltman. Nobody knows who the hell he is unless you watch UWF or whatever, the USWA or whatever the hell he came from as a Lightning Kid. This punk comes up and he's Sean Waltman. He's the Kid. He's the Flash Kid. He's just causing controversy to this machismo guy that is supposed to be running your show because he's that badass.
Mm-hmm.
And it just trickles into this whole story. And then without the 1-2-3 Kid, get ready. You want hate in wrestling? Without the 1-2-3 Kid, is there ever fucking DX?
No.
Is there ever the Click? This all comes around. Like, this is huge. So the 1-2-3 Kid beating Razor Ramon because of the epicenter that it then created. If it's not on your list, turn this goddamn show off and have a good day.
I mean, I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that whatsoever. It's a valid point.
That's not number one because I can't.
It's that because you can't figure fucking number one. I want to go off of the epicenter thing, and I'm looking at my list, and the epicenter of everything. Like we look at a lot of things in WWE. It can pinpoint the success, the win of the Monday Night War, pinpoints back to one singular human being. Not Vince McMahon. It's Stone Cold Steve Austin. Whether you like it or not, it is Austin. And to me, the epicenter of everything that started this whole Attitude Era, despite the timing and all that BS, was when Austin stunned McMahon. And I'm going to go back to this. I know it's overhyped. It's overtalked. You can talk about it to the live long day. But the epicenter of everything that transpired from that point on, the villainy of Mr. McMahon, that is still in existence, apparently in real life now, 26 years later, to
January 1st, 2023,
to Austin becoming this mega star that blew things out of the water in less than a year, middle finger flipping, turned kids that seemed to be okay at school into fucking degenerates along with DX because they were either flipping people off or they were telling you to suck it.
And parents were fine with it around this time.
Yeah, parents were living with it.
When I was in 8th grade, I couldn't wear a Simpson shirt to school because of their nastiness, because Homer choked Bart Simpson. I'm a senior, and we're allowed crotch chopping and grinding on women anywhere in the world because the fucking principal loves Stone Cold and is throwing beer out in the gymnasium.
Yeah.
Oh, give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah. And
you understand, like, the world had changed in 4 years.
The world had changed to be less politically correct. It was by degenerates at that point because everybody was telling you to know your role, shut your mouth, turn things sideways, stick it up your candy ass. I will
suck it.
I will stand by this statement. Stone Cold Steve Austin stunning Vince McMahon created what The Rock is today, and people can give me the hate for that. What Shawn Michaels eventually became, because at that point, yes, he was a goody two shoes, then he became the degenerate. But I would argue that anything after the year from 2002 to through 2010 was his best run in WWE, and I can argue that with anybody. Yeah. Just based on success, even if he didn't even hold a world title, it was his best moment in WWE. Undertaker literally launched Undertaker's everything that Undertaker is how it is. Quite literally threw Mick Foley off a damn cell. Yeah. But everything started from that stunner. That's when the Attitude Era became concrete, and that's when they actually started turning the tide and setting them up to eventually take over WCW and win it.
Because every casual fan that watches wrestling has a boss. Like, I like my boss. My job right now, legit like my boss. You give me the opportunity to hit him with a chair or fucking stun him, I'm going to.
Yeah.
Well, why wouldn't I?
Right.
You would do it to your boss just because.
And not only stun him, pour beer on his face while he's laying in the ground suffering in pain.
And get on all fours. And
So it's
you
just,
guys cannot see this, but just
like, jaw jack him.
Yeah. I do that on a daily basis to people. So, yeah. I love that one. I can't disagree. So then I went moments for a minute.
Okay.
All right. So essentially, you're on the same page here with me.
Yeah.
And I can't separate these two. People are like, oh, they're two fucking different people. Yeah, but the same thing happened. One was a beer truck. One was a milk truck.
Oh, yeah.
It's the same thing.
Oh, my God. I love the milk truck.
It's the same thing, though, right? You
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah. Yep.
One's beer, one's milk. People had forgot that Austin did it with beer. Whatever. Yeah. You know where you were when the milk truck comes out and is just hosing people down. Granted, it just happened again a couple weeks ago. But
Right.
when we were off, we didn't get to talk about it because Mark had to die. Bad taste for a joke right there. Shit. What bad taste?
That's
Mark.
that. Yeah.
It's just what it is. I won't find it on editing. I apologize. But you knew where you were. You exactly knew. And it's like, oh my God, you remember those. You remember, listen, it was water, it was milk, or it was whatever.
Yeah.
People just flailing all over the ring. Those were fun. You
remember
people that weren't wrestling. Did you just see that? No, I don't watch wrestling. What the hell are you talking about? But you drink beer. I have it taped. Come over to the house tomorrow. We'll rewatch it. Okay.
You know how many times it replays in my mind, and I'm going to the milk truck scene. JR screaming, "The $1 Million Princess has become a Dairy Queen." That replays in my mind nonstop for how funny that was. The whole Vince McMahon, Austin 316, I'm going to roll into Philadelphia, check myself into the SmackDown hotel, roll up the 316, burn that sumbitch to the ground. Epic. Everything about that. It was epic. It was fun. It was hilarious. Everything about that. Even the little known beer truck scene with Santino Marella, if anybody remembers that, where he fucking gets stunned, salutes as he goes down, and then he gets drenched in beer. And then poor Maria gets drenched in beer because she just happens to be there at the same time.
Why was she there? Still to this day.
She and Santino were just messing around, and then this is what happens to her. But it's one of those things where you just, I loved it. I love it. That was great pick.
I'm guessing I don't have any in the last 5 years.
I have some borderlining on this, and I'll go there right now. Actually, it's right on. I think it might be 6 years, 6 or 7. 6. I can pinpoint it. This happened in February 27. This happened in February 2017, and it was one of the most ultimate heartbreaking moments we have ever seen in professional wrestling and in a ring. That continues to this day to make us be on the edge of our seats for when the bloodline eventually turns on Sami Zayn. If you don't know where I'm at with this, let me remind you of the Festival of Friendship, where KO unfortunately turned on Chris Jericho after a litany of pomp and circumstance, probably one of the most magnificent paintings I've ever seen in my life. And the silence that fell over that crowd when he pulled out the list of KO. Yeah. And our hearts shattered. My God in heaven, I have not felt anything like that in professional wrestling in a long time up to that point. And when that happened, man, I rocked. It hurt. It hurt like a son of a bitch. But yeah.
That's a good one. I like that one. It's coming though again. And it's going to be KO and Sammy, essentially.
I know. Yeah.
That tug right there. So we're talking about tugs on heartstrings then. I have two grouped together, and it's the night after Owen and then Eddie, the memorials. And listen, I just got the chills. I really did, because I know bawling and crying. And I know you don't want to say, hey, man, the WWE does these right, but fuck, does the WWE do them right? When something happens and we're taking care of ourselves, and I know you guys can say whatever about how Owen passed, but they still, that show, if I would have that DVR of back in the day, I've switched cable companies so many times, I would still have it. Yeah. It is just something, I know it's out there. That night, that whole 24, 48 hours resonates with me because the family, wrestling family was here, and Mom popping down, Mom crying with us, and it just, yeah. And then what happened, only a few months later, with me, like that whole time is just embedded into my head, and it's just, yeah. And then and I'm not disregarding Eddie's, but like when they do a memorial, they do it right.
Yeah, and one of the things that I think we don't give WWE credit for a lot is their production value on their video packages, whether it be a rivalry, building up Rock Stone Cold for 17, or it being when people pass away and putting together the songs and just putting together the story of their careers, where they came from, to the points that they had gotten in their careers, to just their coworkers being there and remembering who they were, the person they were, what they meant to them. You could just tell half of those people couldn't bear to do it, but they were doing it because they knew that Eddie or Owen would want the show to go on. And they wanted to be there to pay tribute to him any way possible. This was, I know it's not one of his closest friends, but I always go back and remember the Owen tribute show where they had the Intercontinental title match, and it was supposed to be Road Dogg and the Godfather for the title. And Godfather goes, let's just get out of here and go tell some Owen stories. And that's what they did. They came out, they did their thing. He's like, I'm not even bringing out the hose. He didn't even talk up the hose. He's like, let's get out of here and tell some Owen stories. And that's what they did. And that was beautiful. I thought that was one of the more touching things that night, even as crazy as it sounds.
Yeah, but it made sense.
It made perfect sense. And the button on that whole night, and not even getting to Eddie's stuff, but the button on that whole night was Austin in the ring. Not for the reason I thought at the time. Now, because he was tipping beers to him, and at the time, I'm like, that's nice. Austin's their big guy who's paying tribute in the ring. But you think about this now, being an older person, the things that had led up to that point, with Owen being the one responsible for Austin's neck injury, and the professionalism Stone Cold showed in that moment. There was a lot of emotion still there, and there's a ton. And that was fantastic. Eddie's was even more. Eddie had a week dedicated to him, which was fantastic in its own right, because he deserved it, and he needed that. I just remember the news coming out, and I'm like, I just remember they had to do the Super Show that same night they found out Eddie died, and that was all. I think it was all taped that night.
Yeah.
And they couldn't, how you could even possibly function knowing that 6 hours later you had to turn around and do a show somehow, even if it was to pay tribute to him. It was heartbreaking. And both of them, it was somber, but it was beautifully done by them all. And I give mad props to WWE for that. Even for the Raw segments that they did for Dusty, or like any video package they've done for those that have passed, I think those all can be brought into this same category, or iconic. They can be brought into the same category. So.
Agreed. All right, we're gonna pick it up.
We're gonna pick it up because I'm gonna pick it up right now. Do you know what I'm gonna pick it up with? One of my favorite cash-ins. I love this from the day it happened. 2012, 2013, somewhere in that range. Dolph Ziggler cashing in the Money in the Bank.
Nice.
My favorite cash in. Big E AJ Lee on the outside, Del Rio getting his comeuppance. I remember yelling, "Good, you motherfucker." I don't know why. He just seemed like a piece of shit back then, and he turned out to be one. So, anyways, but Dolph Ziggler cashing in, Dolph deserved it at that point. I wish the
He
concussion,
still does today.
Still does today. I wish that concussion did not derail him. This was not a Raw moment. I popped so big when he won the Survivor Series match the next year in 2013, 2014. He won the Survivor Series match. I popped then. I'm still a big Dolph Ziggler proponent. That was one of my favorite cash-ins until Seth Rollins ruined it and became my new favorite cash-in. But that's a different story for a different time.
Seth Rollins is, the greatest, and it's going to be hard pressed not for it to be ever the greatest.
Nobody's going to top it. I'm sorry. WrestleMania, it's the heist of the century. Beautifully done, executed. Loved every minute of it.
We'll talk about that more around Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
This is your life.
Oh my God, I had that on this list.
Good.
Yeah.
This is your life with The Rock and the Mankind and unbelievable comedy stuff.
Oh.
I actually rewatched that one because I'm like, I have to put this on the list because it was one of the first ones that came up, and I'm like, yep, let's watch that.
It was, oh my God, that was perfect segment. Didn't that go over? It was like 22 minutes long or something like that.
It was not even supposed to, but it was just, people were eating the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Like, it was just so hype. And they're just, so everybody that came out, they're like, skip around, do a little bit more. This is way too over for it to be pulled off right now.
Highest rated, I believe it's the highest rated segment in Raw history, 6.1, which if you guys, 6 million people watch that segment.
Right.
And oh my God, that was underrated, the way Mankind and The Rock played off of each other.
Yeah.
During that time. Underrated. That was a good one. You know what? I'm going to play off the Mankind bit a little bit, but I'm going to go. This was tough. Now, I wanted to go with his debut of someone special to him, maybe a little sock puppet, but I got to go with when he screamed, "Yo, Adrian, I did it." I got to go the world title win because
Either one
works. They both
Mankind in general.
Mankind in general. I'm going to go with the Monday night one on here, but Mr. Sacco gets a special credit in that hospital. We might as well, you know what, 2 for 1, guys. 2 for 1, because you got the bedpan McMahon at the same in 2 minute span with Mr. Sacco's debut. And Yurdle the fucking clown, or whatever the hell her fucking name was. So we had that. And now we have Mankind winning the world title, and it being single-handedly the same night as the fucking finger poke of doom that lives in infamy around the years.
As well as it was recorded.
It was recorded.
Said, hey, we already know what happens. Mankind or Mick Foley wins the title. Millions of people changed the channel
to watch it. He said, and the best part of that whole speech by Tony Schiavone was, that'll put butts in the seat. And it sure as fuck did, because everybody fucking slipped.
It was a downfall of WCW. Wonder if we ever asked Tony that. I'm sure he's brought it up on his podcast. Do you regret saying that now?
Excuse me. I have heard him say, I can't remember the podcast he said it on, but I remember he did an interview and he said he was forced to say.
Of course he was.
You know,
and I mean it nice. Of course he was forced to say that.
He was forced to say the ratings and all that, but he was also forced to say that'll put butts in the seats. So he was just playing the card. And, you know, I think it took a long time for Mankind, Mick Foley, to reconcile with Tony Schiavone over that, because he thought he was taking a cheap shot at him, like the biggest night of his career, and he was like talking it down in that. But I think he does regret it, because when you're forced to do something, it's just, you have to do it. It's your job. There's nothing you can do. And it torpedoed everything. That finally backfired on him, and the rest was history.
83 weeks.
83 weeks.
It's the shitter. I'm gonna go emotional one more time, and it's because the Flair retirement.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Like those were. Listen, he's retired now 37 times. He wants to make it 38. But those, I believe, Rick and I love you. If you'd ever find this, I love you. Those, I believe, were his real tears.
Yeah.
Like, I think the whole Shawn Michaels match and essentially being forced. And I will say this all the time in the WWE. I think it was a forced one. But I think those were real tears.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the last one he just did, and whatever the hell it was, those might have been real. But the 6 other ones in between, those are all fucking crocodile.
Yeah.
So as a youngster, when he had the Michaels one and he retired, yeah, I cried again. I cry a lot in wrestling. All right, I do, for good or bad.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I'm sticking my middle finger up to anybody that doesn't cry at wrestling.
I agree. I mean, we talked about this 2 years ago when Punk came back, a year and a half or whatever it was, and that poor guy who they caught crying, he was doing his.
Gonna make this.
Huh?
Nothing. Go ahead.
When Punk came back, that guy was crying. We all did at the house because we knew it was a special moment. 7 years, a lot of emotions come up with that. So I mean, there's nothing wrong with letting your emotions fly in wrestling. That's what we do. I mean, who the hell didn't cheer? We're men. We cry over men in tights. That's what we do. But hey,
beefy men slapping
big beefy men slapping meat. Anyways,
we digress. Go ahead.
We did digress. I'll go to it. You know what? I just brought him up, so I'll just go to it. This one's an easy one. Pipe bomb. It was out there. I mean, we didn't really need to mention it, but we might as well. And I'll even go one step further. Punk has produced a lot of memorable things, whether it be the pipe bomb, his feud with The Undertaker, things with Triple H, telling Kevin Nash he's not relevant anymore with a cell phone. He's done a lot of things, but that pipe bomb has single-handedly changed.
Or the bomb?
Bomb. I don't know why it went bomb. Oh, what's going on over here?
This one happened during baseball season. Do you have the exact date? Because we came in the next morning and none of us watched it together.
Yeah.
But that's all we talked about. Like, we're like, oh shit, I have to get lineups out there. I have to do. My shit was so late for the game.
I think, I'm going to be honest, I think, and I'm verifying it right now before I type it in, June 26th, 2011. I think that's when it was, because I think we still had a few weeks to Money in the Bank where they were fighting at.
Yeah. You can verify all you want.
I want right on that date. Go ahead.
Let's see.
Damn it. June 27th, day off. But yeah.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Talk amongst yourselves. But yeah, I mean, we'd be remiss not to bring that up. I think.
June what? June what?
It was June 27th, actually.
27th.
Yeah, 2011. According to Google. Let's see what Mark's got.
I really thought we were home.
We might not have been.
June 27th, 2011.
No, we couldn't have been because we would not have been able to see Raw that night if we were home.
Oh, that's true because it was.
Because it would have been a home Buck night. People would have been getting bucked up in the stadium that night.
Buck night. Yeah, I don't think we were. I'm trying to find it. No, June 27th, 2011. Erie releases single high credit. Oh, God, yeah. 5,000. Oh, these numbers are fucking skewed out the ass. 5,592 watched the Seawolves snap a 4-game losing streak at Ut Park. We beat the B-Mets.
Then how did we had to have watched it there then? Because I remember I did not leave that day.
Did we watch it?
Might have watched it on YouTube the next day, to be honest.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Who gets the win in this? Casey Crosby was stellar, getting his first start since returning from the rehab. Holy Christ. Gee, boss. Oh, we went to a doubleheader. Brandon Douglas, Deke Scram. Okay. Jared Gayhart would pick the final two innings. 7-1 against the B-Mets. Raleigh Bishop.
Bishops.
You guys have no idea what we're talking about.
Oh, the former B-Mets now. That's the Rumble Ponies now.
It is a Rumble Pony. So essentially, maybe I don't know. I really don't know how it all broke down, but I'm sure we did rewatch it again.
Yeah. We rewatched it several times that next day. There's no way that was escaping that office building. But
so yeah, and I know we definitely played another game then on Tuesday, and then okay.
Yeah.
Pipe bomb. I always love this one, and this is horrible. Stephanie being crucified.
Oh my God.
Like, I understand. I think it happened earlier with, Sandman being crucified at ECW right before Angle signs where he's going to do everything. And I'm not knocking it. A lot of people now have seen it because of tape training and this and that. Stephanie was crucified on the USA Network. Live on TV. Maybe it was taped the week before or whatever, but essentially it was played live on TV. And they were just calling it a marriage because she clearly couldn't be crucified, but she was hung up on the Undertaker's. Grandparents were alive. Yes. Grandpa watched it. Grandma went nuts. Why am I watching this? Why did your grandfather start watching this? It's not the old wrestling of the day. What the hell are you guys now watching? This little girl is crucified on national television. That's burned in my fucking head. I loved it.
It was fucking insane. I go 2 weeks. What was it? A week later, 2 weeks later, whenever the Undertaker ended up crucified on it, or whatever that time frame on it, and then he was laughing and just. You want to talk about burned into your head. The kidnapping of Stephanie, let alone the crucifying of her. Then the Undertaker laughing while he's on the damn thing. I mean, we might as well go down that road. And then finding out somehow, some way, Vince McMahon's the higher power of this whole goddamn thing. And he's the one that caused his daughter to get kidnapped in the first place. But we also did get Stone Cold Steve Austin as CEO of the WWE for a month from that. So...
I mean, I have more. Those are the ones that you continue to go because I have a couple more on the top of my head.
Well, we said 5. Do you want to just keep going, or do you want to? I think the list goes on and
the list can go on forever. I don't like 2 more, and then listen. Realistically, we're gonna touch on WWE because next week we're gonna sit down and rip WWE. Not rip it apart bad, but we're gonna talk a lot about what's coming up with the Royal Rumble, this and that, and then and if we still have to get to AEW, and I think AEW is pretty noteworthy this week.
Yeah. Oh man, we've had a lot of good ones. The one that just popped into my head while we were sitting here, I didn't remember off the top of my head, but I think it calls out just because it's come up recently. With the anniversary of May's passing, was Mae Young getting power bombed off the stage through a table by the Dudley boys. Those damn Dudleys throw fucking power bombing an 80-year-old woman off the stage. Back when the stages were 20 feet tall, they were fucking ridiculous. Yeah, that woman did a lot of crazy shit in her day. But
my last one probably goes out to, because I can tell you right where I was. I was in the pizzeria watching it, and then all of a sudden a fucking tank pulls up to outside WCW. And listen, I don't listen to many of his podcasts, but I had to find this one, Road Dogg's podcast. They were scared to death that door was going to open and Ming was going to be on the other side, or who, or however you know him, and beat the shit out of him. Like, they were like, if it's Hogan, we don't care. If it's the Giant, we're best friends with him. If it's, Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, they're going to let us in. Da-da-da-da-da. They're like, if it was Ming, they were going to leave a tank and a Jeep right there and run. Like, this whole DX in general is amazing, but one of the favorite ones are when they drove, I believe it was Norfolk. I really think that was where it was. They just drove and started yelling on the microphone, hey, we're here. WCW, DX is here. Open the gates. What happens if they would have? What happens if they would have opened the gates?
I would have loved to find out. I also wish Ming was on the other side of that door. Wish
Ming, the gate opens, garage door, and the only one is there, Ming. And you have Triple H, and you have Shawn, and you have Billy, and you have Road Dogg. What was Chyna on? I don't remember if Chyna was on it or not.
I can't remember. No, Chyna had to have been there. I would have thought she would have been.
Think, right?
Yeah.
But boom. And it's just Ming or whatever character it was at that time. Boom. And they were like, oh, shit. That would have meant more, I think, than them going in and running amok inside if they could have.
Oh, yeah. The fucking Ming would have been on the other side of the door. They would have turned tail and run. WCW would have just had to give the world title to Ming at that point and just let him go.
Right?
I mean, that would have been, they would have lit a rocket on his ass and flew him to the moon at that point. But that was a good one. So I could also go ahead.
Listen, 30 years of fucking profession. I was 15 years old when Raw started.
Yeah.
Never did I, and I always, everybody remembers John. We would mock it. Oh, is this wrestling show on a Monday night? At first, was it going to last? It's against. Listen, we're big football fans too, especially me and you. Is it ever going to last? It's never really competed with football. It's its own entity. It's just, hey, we're fucking on TV. Watch it. Idiots like we are like, oh my God, the Steelers are playing any other team in the world. I'm still watching wrestling.
Yeah.
Just in 30 years. It's crazy.
30?
We didn't have to struggle to come up with 5, 10. We could have gotten more. If we wanted to get into matches, actually, we could.
Could you imagine the fucking matches we could have came up with? I mean, it was endless. The moments were endless. We could have talked about, Austin saving Team WWF or Vince McMahon when Jericho called out James Ellsworth as Vince McMahon. The moments are there. The fucking matches were there from the first Raw main event. Damien Demento versus The Undertaker.
Right.
Ugh.
I loved when they were in New York City.
I love that one. Oh my God. Manhattan Center. That was epic. I could get into, what was it, 20 or 25? It was 25 where they fucked up the Manhattan Center with the mistakes they made there. It's a memory, but hopefully they fix that. But hey, 30 years from that first main event, the first happenstance of WWE in the Manhattan Center, everything about it, ICO Pro, whatever it is, to Monday night, where probably the main attraction will be this whole the bloodline acknowledgement, which could or could not have an electrifying feel to it. Who, if you read reports from Friday, could not. Yeah, it's depends on where it goes. But Raw, 30 years, Triple X, a part of our lives. Congratulations, Monday Night Raw. Yeah.
As dirty as this old man is that runs the company, thank you. But now let's talk about the most electrifying man. Friday comes out and says, I don't think I'm going to be having enough time to get in shape. What? If me or you say that, I'd be like, all right. And I'm not knocking you. You understand?
Yeah.
Okay. Dude is in more shape than 95.999% of the people in America. And we're not expecting you to have
a 5-star match.
A 5-star match. I don't need that. You just being there. Are we getting the wall, or is this fucking true that he's not going to be there?
Here's the thing. This AEW and Mercedes Moné shit has now thrown me to he might not be there mentality, but I feel like it's the wool as well. It just seems like you would have known 14 months. Yeah, 14 months. Like, you would have known 6 months ago if you weren't going to be able to have the time to do this. You're going to tell me now you don't have the time? No.
Less than 90 days before Mania.
It's BS because the timing is just outrageous. Also, we don't use our television show about our lives to leave Easter eggs about having matches coming up. You don't talk about a young Roman and say, oh, maybe that'll headline WrestleMania one day. Or to have a undisputed title in this like collection on this show. You're throwing shots on the show at least.
Yeah.
We're building.
Listen, I understand 40 would make a lot of sense. Okay? Listen, it does. It's 40. Everybody loves round numbers. Roman and Rock have nothing to do with Philadelphia. And that's not a shot on Philadelphia. It's not.
No.
They have everything to do with Los Angeles, for the love of Christ. Rock is the most electrifying actor.
Yeah.
Listen, once this match happens, Roman's going to be the second most electrifying actor.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's gone. We've painted this picture for a while now. I think once this bloodline dissipates, or there's oil in the water, because, whatever, this is when Roman starts to, he's part-time now. And that pause was meant to be there. Oh my God. He's going part-time when all the titles are off of him.
Yep.
So love on Roman as much as you can right now. He's leaving to greener pastures, and he's got his cousin just pushing him along.
Yep. He's bringing him right under his wing. And this match will probably happen, in my opinion. I know I said it.
I'll be angry if it doesn't, actually.
I will be too, because look at this. Look what Rock did for Cena. Yeah, their match was 10 years ago, but it still brought Cena up to a major light, and they could say, okay, well, this is what the Cena guy can do. What can we... That opened doors. Let's be honest. Roman's now been in a couple movies, one with The Rock. He's there. The shine is there. He can beat The Rock, but people are going to start taking notice. More people are watching than you think. So I agree. And don't be surprised if the titles are off the bloodline within the next 6 months. And now Roman's off to do whatever he wants. The Usos can do whatever they want. Everything starts to trickle down further and further. But
yeah. So I think it's just wool as well.
I think it's wool. It has to be wool.
And then we'll get to how it's all going to come about next week. I'm not going to give you guys much more. I can't give you much more because I'm super excited about next week's Rumble prediction things. So, all right.
So am I.
Across the board, let's just do WWE in a nutshell. We can start SmackDown. Guys, you listened last week, and it was Braun against Gunther is what we were like, wolf, at the end of the show. I went back and rewatched it. It still was wolf to me.
It wasn't great. What Gunther did his best to carry Braun in the match, but it was what it was. Braun's not a good technical guy, and Gunther can bring people along, but there's only so much he can do. So, nope.
No. Really, the only thing I got out of SmackDown then was KO Sammy. But
yeah,
who didn't see it going that way?
Exactly. It was the only way it could go. I mean, they weren't going to let Sammy do the proverbial finishing off of KO. There was just no way that was going to happen. And honestly, spoilers, things that have happened tonight have really transpired and made even more things interesting for Raw on Monday. I watched it. Mark did not. There was some aggression, man, from Roman to Sammy. No, not ruthless. No thugonomics here. Also, we didn't bring up Cena at all in Raw memories. Odd. But
no, we didn't. Huh.
Yeah, we did not bring up the thugonomics, the Doctor of Thugonomics. But anyways, now I can only think about that promo where he told Kurt Angle or Edge to blow him, and he had the pinwheel. But that's a different story for a different time. But yeah, at the end of the day, it was what it was. KO got destroyed. And now the events have transpired. I think Monday's acknowledgement ceremony, not only was it must watch because of every generation of the bloodline, I'm really skeptical that there's going to be something else going on here. Not in Sammy's favor here.
I really hate that you're leading me, and I didn't watch it yet. I hate your face right now.
I had to lead you a little bit.
Basketball. I love basketball. Calling games. Sorry. So for Raw then, we don't need to touch the Usos and Solo and everything because we essentially covered what kind of happens. I didn't like the Ali attacking for their match. Did we need Ali out there?
No, it was just
controversy. Not at all.
Mm-mm. He was just thrown out there to be out there.
What we did get is a Cody vignette that continued after the Friday Cody vignette and says, "Hey, I'm coming back."
Yeah.
But he wasn't cleared yet to say that he was coming back.
But apparently that wasn't an issue for everybody.
But apparently he's cleared now.
Yeah. So they're just like, well, I think he'll be back. So what the hell? I mean, hey, before something else happened, you might as well just declare him for the Rumble and hope for the best.
Do you think it was good that he declared? I mean, listen, I think every wrestling fan put the timetable together that he was coming back at Rumble no matter what. But wouldn't you have liked a little bit of suspense next week?
I would have.
More.
Yes.
For to come.
Well, here's the thing. Based on what I read, WWE is very happy with the surprises they have planned for the Rumbles. So they have more going on than what could happen. And I think to them, yes, I would have loved to see Cody be a surprise, but at the same time, I think they be
a surprise.
Really, it was let's steer into it now and just say Cody's going to be in the Rumble. Let's build it up, make him be the major player in it.
Plus, he was good job. Whoever made the calendar, the poster, right? He was on the poster.
Yeah.
The poster was released 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And the poster is full of electricity.
Yeah.
I bet you it's probably gold. Which, yeah, is one that I'm predicting going to be there. So there's my only spoiler you're getting. What else do you like on Raw? Did MVP talk to Elias into getting beat by Omos? Great.
I did like that MVP came out. It looks like the Hurt business is coming back together, but I don't think he was out there for Cedric and Shelton. I think he's out there for the Street Profits. And if we're getting a Street Profit turn, sign me up big time. I'm up for it. Well, you just don't like them anyways.
I don't. What are we doing with Bianca and Alexa? Is Bianca taking this title to Mania and getting another moment? She lose it at Mania to somebody? Who are we building up for Bianca?
I think
because Baxter Bailey isn't going to be done, is it? It can't be. It shouldn't be. I don't want it to be.
I don't think it's either one of them. I think they're still on the path for Rhea.
You damn well better get her there then. It's going to be a win. I don't know if this is my pick, and I don't know if I want it to be my pick.
Yeah.
She wins the Rumble. There it is. It's no story.
The only story they can play off of right now is they've passed in the hallway a couple times. But
6 months ago, I understand.
Hey, no. But I get that. But there's also history there. The history exists. War games existed. They've so you're right. Let's put it in this perspective, because I think it goes along with your thinking right now. If I am a person that did not watch NXT at all in its entire history,
right.
You don't know the history between them coming up to there, and you are thinking it's the most out of left field thing besides the exchange in the hallway a couple months ago. But this is where Triple H relies on this person in saying, well, I anticipate you watched back then because we have all this history built in with
Even though Vince didn't want you to back then.
Even though Vince didn't want you to, we built this storyline up. These women know each other far too well. Trips is playing the cards that he yeah, I know.
There's just not a taste in my mouth for it. It can always be force fed to us, and I think it is. I think this is Bianca's being force fed Ripley, and Ripley wins because Judgment Day is going to be Judgment Day is going to be the new bloodline because they're falling apart. They're going to run shit for a while if you haven't caught on. Okay?
Yeah.
Maybe not the heavyweight championships, but other things are going to be lingering around these guys. There's 3. There's tag titles and there's a women's title. Get ready. They don't need the Universal. That can stay with somebody else. Right?
Yeah, I mean, Mommy runs that group, so Mommy's got the title. That's your world champion right there. And let's be honest, it may be the biggest pill to swallow, but they may be the team that dethrones the Usos here, guys. As difficult as that is, and how goofy fucking Prison Dom is, he's going to be fucking a tag team champion here.
I like Prison Mike better.
Prison Mike, the Dementors. He had Dementors on his side. It made more sense.
And my last thing. The 6-pack challenge. We don't have anything for Bob to do right now, so it makes complete sense for him to go back after Theory.
I fully hope next week when this match happens, fucking Brock Lesnar walks right out there and screws Bob out of the title.
Yep. Exactly.
That's exactly what I'm thinking is going to happen to this. But will it happen? Who fuck knows?
I mean, other than that, there's WWE in a nutshell. And you've already spoiled some of the shit for next week.
Not that much.
Not much, but it's enough.
Previews.
Yeah. That's it. You want to talk about AEW?
Yeah, we shouldn't we?
Yeah. After we tell you about Caller Now, about hats, hoodies, tees, all the cool stuff that Al Snow and Hooligans have, use the promo code Caller Now. But use the promo code Can Crushers, capital C and Can, capital C and Crushers. You save 10%. We're available where podcasts are. Find us on social media. Send us an email, cancrushers69@gmail.com. I've never done it this late in the show. No.
It's throwing you off.
Whoa. You guys know it. You've been with us for 7 seasons. Jeez Louise, give us a break. We come back, we'll talk about AEW.
Wrestling. A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. The wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. 2 entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
Hey everyone, it's Journey Burke, the Law of Attraction, and you're listening to the Can Crushers podcast.
Happy Can Crusher Day! Welcome back, everybody. I was trying to do Happy Rusev Day, but it wasn't working out too well there. So, welcome back, all. This is what happens when you make me do things late.
I know. Speaking of late, it's late for me to talk about. How about last week's Sarah Bubbles interview that we had? Good one. I really liked it. Getting into the business rather late for an independent star, but it was fun. This week's is with Journey Burke, distant relative of Mildred Burke, and I'll leave it at that.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. Hell of an interview. Law of Attraction. Let me just leave it at that.
Okay.
Fun. And since it's wrestling involved a little bit, Monday, Pardon the Paranormal. You've heard this man on Can Crushers as well. Dan Hooven, former IWC High Stakes champion, former IWC photographer. He joins Jason and myself on Pardon the Paranormal to talk about his world of paranormalism and what him and Jason do together. And again, I love that podcast. They're teaching me so much, but I'm essentially just a producer on that show. I'm excited to be doing some things with them down the line and helping as much as I can. But holy shit, these guys are just fucking geniuses compared to me. So a couple shots were taken at other wrestlers. So if you have nothing to do Monday, Pardon the Paranormal, as Dan Hooven joins myself and Jason Tyler.
All right. Look for that to come out, guys. Look for the drop.
Journey Burke, though, on Spotlight. That's going to be a good one. So, I like the whole realm of us just throwing shit against the wall on wrestling this week, because it's more about what we talked about in the first segment. So, what do you want to bring up on AEW? Well, we'll at least break them down. Rampage. What do you like?
Well, Rampage, I don't know if I like it, but I mean, the dissension in the ranks between Kingston and Ortiz is coming up fast and furious. And
which one's joining House of Black? I don't fucking care. I'm throwing it right there. One of them's joining.
I don't think it's Kingston. I think he's too big of a player. It's got to be Ortiz. It has to be Ortiz here.
Because they were telling him, good job this week. Good God.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. I love everything about this. Again, they're doing it beautifully. And if you add him to the mix.
Slow
process. Long-term storytelling is your best friend. So I love it. Oh, that's actually Andretti. Sorry.
I'm sure we're going to talk about the main event.
Yeah.
So let me start with this. Paul Walter Hauser, hanger. This guy loves wrestling. He's got a set of nuts for, he's got a fucking Golden Globe. What did he do to get a Golden Globe? I don't care. But he takes shots at WWE. This guy, not in the business. It's almost like us taking shots at WWE. This was so damn stupid that I laughed my ass off.
It was
and
really
I hated it. And I hated it.
It was really good. I mean, what it was supposed to do. It was supposed to give you a comedy.
What was it supposed to do?
I think it was just supposed to make you laugh your ass off, and that was about it. I don't think there's anything else to this, but just to fucking.
By the way, one of the best fucking guitar shots taken by anyone. This guy must have said, yeah, Tony Khan beat the piss out of me.
Do what you got to do. I give him credit. That thing exploded.
Yeah. I still don't know who he is, nor do I care. But if he's at a con, I'm probably going to go up and shake his hand now and say, hey, dude, you're a fat guy that likes wrestling. Me too.
He paid his dues.
Right? I hope this gets back to him and he wants to come on the show. That'll be fucking
yeah, amazing. Why not?
I didn't know that this was going to be a street fight from death to dishonor to everything. I love this. Absolutely love this. I love the shout out. It was the Dudleys against the Bellas. And get ready. If anybody wants to call me out and cancel me for a week, man, Ruby with all the blood, just, oh my God, I just wanted to run up and give her a kiss. I never thought Ruby was so hot in my life. I'm a fucking demented human being. She looked amazing at the end of this match, just covered in Michael Myers blood.
She was just, it was pumping out of her head, and it was, she looked like she was.
I should not say I'm a happily married man, and it's not me, but I don't know. There was like something with Ruby.
Something did it for you.
It really did.
I gotta say, I mean, oh fuck, this because we talked about it last year when Anna Jay and Tay I don't know why I forgot Tay's name, fought the Bunny and Penelope Ford in that street fight, and everybody was pissing and moaning about that one because it was too bloody, too this. This was the same goddamn thing. This was bloody. It was brutal. And it needed to be. This one needed to be. I think this one needed to be more than that one did.
Last one, yeah.
Than the last one, because there was so much built into this, so much animosity in this. And I got to give props to fucking Anna Jay missing a table and going right off the stage onto the concrete floor.
And she's like, I'm all right.
Fuck it.
What?
Pays to be, what is she, 21, 22, whatever the hell she is, pays to be that young again, and you can just splat on the concrete and be,
I
pop
love
up like
the
a daisy.
recall of the barbed wire arm, too.
Yep, I did love that, too. That was a nice touch by that. Queenslayer looking for, but
I love when they're giving the women time to play, and listen, this was a long-told story. This was a long-told story as well.
Yeah.
Once again, check
and mate. This is what I love about AEW. To your point, they give the women a chance to play, give them a chance to get into these bloody brawls, because women are just human beings too, guys. This is not. Let them be human beings. Let them be vicious, be destroying each other if they want on TV, bleeding, doing what they got to do. It's producing some of the more memorable matches in AEW. And that's just because of long-term storytelling, feeding these stories left and right. That's what made Thunder Rosa and Britt amazing.
Shout out. You'll hear a lot about that on Wednesday.
Yeah. Oh.
Journey Burke.
Oh, dropping hints. But that's what makes all these stories great, is because they do come to a finite end, and they say, okay, go balls to the wall and just destroy each other, because that's what we want in wrestling, is a finale, a final end to the fight, to the rivalry.
I never, it is no disrespect to Willow, I just haven't been, I think she's great in the ring. I like her kind of persona. I'm not there yet with her. Even with what happened Wednesday, we're going to talk about mass respect. Like, I think this is more. I would love Willow and Ruby to continue to get it again. We've said this. I think it's now time AEW women tag titles.
Yep.
They could be the Dudlettes or whatever the fuck they want to be called, and I'm all for these two being a tag team now. They are the harder core tag team. Ruby's always been, that way, but I think Willow's more now than her goofy persona that she was, and I'm not knocking it because it's fun. She's a fun person. You throw her as the Dudlettes, horrible name, but still, I'm in. It makes sense.
Yeah, but I don't disagree with you one bit. AEW has more actual women's tag teams than WWE, who has two tag team titles in their company. AEW has astronomically more women tag teams in their company.
Yeah.
Bring a tag team title set, because you're going to let them play and you're going to let them do what they're going to do. And again, to your point, props to Willow. Go ahead.
Maybe that's what Monet's bringing, tag titles.
Maybe.
Maybe she's not ever coming.
We'll see. We'll see if she comes. Revolution. Well, no. When we get to Wednesday, we'll get to this because I think there's something brewing here. But
we're on Wednesday.
Let's go to Wednesday. Let's just jump to it. I didn't know if you want to say anything else, but let's jump to Wednesday. Let's jump to We're going right to that because we're not even going to beat around the bush here. All right. So now apparently, which I don't know if this came out of nowhere or what the fuck was going on, but Saraya and Tony Storm are now heel out of this whole thing.
But they gave it away. They gave it away more in the interview than they did in the Tony and Willow match.
Yeah.
And where the fuck is Sheeta? I don't know what Sheeta is. Because she is not an AEW original. If you look at it.
Yeah.
But she's not with them either.
Yeah. Sheeta's middle ground right now. And that's the thing. This is where Mercedes comes in. Does she play into this realm of the other company girls coming in, or is it
okay? Mental fucking block. Family's gonna be coming home. I don't care. They could drive around for a while. I'm kidding. So you have WWE players, which are Saraya and Tony.
Yeah.
You have AEW originals, which are Britt and Hater, the Killer and the Pillar. Why am I saying that? The Killer and the Pillar. And then you have New Japan. Are we now calling, since Monet was debuted there, she's New Japan with Sheeta? No way. You cannot be saying that her and Sheeta are going to be a team. Are you?
I don't know, to be honest. I honestly think Mercedes would come in and be her own person if that's the case. But again, if you're going to do this ground warfare thing, she's going to get drawn into a side at some point. But what side does she get drawn into or pulled into? Like, is it just, if we're going to do this ground warfare, let's put it this way. Oh, God damn it. Here we go. I already figured it out. We're starting this build now of girls that come from the company from WWE to the AEW originals. I don't know. You get 5-on-5 by May.
No, I think they need it though.
I think they need it. I think they need to get into blood and guts at that point. 5-on-5,
or at least a Stadium Stampede match.
Yeah, or Anarchy in the Arena at Double or Nothing.
One of them, the women need. I mean, we wave the flag. We're huge advocates.
Yep.
Shame on us for not bringing this up. It is time now. They need one of these gimmick specialty matches
to let them go and let them take off. It's there, and they're building it at the right time. Now how do we get the players how do we get the players aligned properly?
Yep.
Again, long-term storytelling. They know what they're doing here.
It's perfect. The main event of this and the first match of Rampage both had one person in it that was the same, and it was Darby.
Yeah.
I didn't really care about the Juice match. I don't know if it's about that I'm not a Juice fan.
Right.
But if we can get Darby and Kushida next week in the best of 7, I'll be all right with it. Like, I was a big Kushida fan in NXT. Gimmick wise, with the jeans and the vest, Kushida's now Kushida again in AEW. This was Darby's best match that I've ever seen in my life. We had a couple spots where he did stupid stuff, but Darby can fucking wrestle. When did Darby learn how to wrestle? This isn't the Darby Allin that I know from the other day, throwing himself off of, buildings like Superman jumps over. When did this Darby Allin come around? This is the Darby Allin that I've been pandering for. Do a couple stupid things. Don't put your life on the line all the time, but wrestle. Yes. This is the person we needed Darby to be. This is the person Darby needed to wrestle was Kushida. Holy fuck. Does this maybe make it honorable mention at the end of the year? As of right now? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree. I can't disagree with that. You're absolutely right. Fucking transitions, the fucking everything that they did. Where's this Darby Allin bit? Is this why he was a pillar? Is this why he was considered a pillar? Was because he can fucking wrestle, but he just chooses to be a fucking daredevil and try to kill himself half the time?
Stop.
Just stop. Just fucking do the wrestling. My God in heaven. Wrestle for fucking 3 weeks straight. Yeah, just wrestle. I don't care. Just stop killing yourself. Do it every pay-per-view. That's fine. Make a jump. But holy fuck. I was so shocked. I didn't have high hopes for this.
I didn't either.
I mean,
really didn't.
I like Kushida, but from NXT and that. But again, remember, I didn't watch a lot of ROH or anything before NXT, so I didn't really know what he did beforehand. My God in heaven, I have a newfound appreciation for him doing what he did here. It was fantastic. Yeah. Man, give me it again. I'll do it.
Match of the week.
Match of the fucking week.
And this is going to be hard pressed because match of the week 1B was Danielson and fucking Bandito. Why did we waste this? And I'm saying waste it during the MJF stuff.
I don't know.
And it was I mean, I loved it. We got a fucking great match. Again, just because it's honorable mention. It's going to be honorable mention in 12 months when we do it. But because of what it has linked to, it's just a middle match. Like, there's nothing to it but just pushing Danielson to the next, which, by the way, next week. Oh, Jesus Christ. Why didn't we do this one first and then give us Bandito?
Exactly.
But this match is amazing, but I think it's wasted just because it's just into push to tell a story of neither one of these two.
Yeah, I think Bandito. I've been toying with this back and forth for the past 3 days. Which one was the better match? I'm sorry, between Kushida and Darby or Danielson and Bandito. Because I think I told Cody Hedrick yesterday it was Danielson Bandito, and now I'm looking at this. Well, I did tell him I like this one better than Takashita versus Danielson. 100 times better. But holy fuck, I agree with you. Why did we just put this in the middle of the MJF stuff? Move it, have it be a one-off, have it be at
Danielson let this be his first title defense.
Yeah, that would have been perfect. Would have been absolutely perfect. Unless they're going to revisit it back then. I don't think they will in 2 months, but God damn it, this was fucking good night for wrestling. A great night for wrestling on Dynamite. Wrestling,
yeah.
Yes. Professional wrestling had a great night Wednesday night.
It did. And you know what? I won't. If you convince me right now that this one was better than Darby and Kushida, I wouldn't piss in anybody's Cheerios. They were both 1 and 1A.
You can't argue with it. They were both 1 and 1A They were fighting amongst themselves, and they were the leaders of the pack this week.
Agreed. Agreed wholeheartedly. But next week we're getting Brian Cage against Danielson. That nobody wants to see.
No. And we had to get what we have, MJF slap. Then we had to build up Brian Cage to beat Willie Mack, who he just did on Rampage. So spoilers on that, guys, if you didn't watch yet. But and
by the way, the MJF, get ready. Horrible recorded. Horrible recorded.
Yep.
Cool. You wanted to give him the week off? He doesn't need to be on TV every week.
No,
you don't have to have something recorded. Like, thank God wrestling saved your life this week. Wrestling. Because promos didn't hit at all. You know what else didn't hit? And I might be hated. I could have given 2 shits about Starks and Hager.
Yeah, there's nothing good. I mean,
they both wore a hat at one point.
Yeah. It didn't do anything. It, I guess, pushed the narrative forward. I don't know.
As we reverse through this, I didn't like the Guns and the Acclaim thing. Like, because I didn't like last week's Guns and Acclaim thing because it wasn't real.
Yeah.
It didn't really put their hands in cement. You're still trying to sell me that they fell in cement. Now Billy is going to go back with his kids.
Yeah.
Like, this is all too quick for these two teams.
Yeah, it just seems like they're kind of just punting it and fast forwarding through a lot of story detail that needs to be told here.
Yeah.
Like, I get they had a rivalry back last year, but this isn't like FTR Young Bucks where we just pick up where we left off. This is just not. They're two young teams that need to continually establish why they hate each other, what they need.
Part of the story.
Yeah, exactly. So they're rushing things with it. Unfortunately, they're rushing it a little bit. And unfortunately, I think this is going to end up being the Guns getting the tag titles.
And it's too soon. Like, it's too soon. And it's not because I like the Acclaimed, but now you're force feeding us quick tag team champions.
Mm-hmm.
I know we don't need long runs all the time. Maybe 2 a year is a long run, but I don't want 6 title changes either. And I think that's what we're going to be this year for tag teams.
Well, we've already started that since June last year. Yeah. Well, I'll say this. If the Guns get the tag titles in the next month, it's going to change hands real quick, real fast after that.
Yeah.
Especially if they sign the team to a long-term deal.
Right.
So that's where I'll leave it at that. You don't start that without closing it. And yeah. So.
Speaking of tag teams, I have shit to say about this.
Oh, here we go. Strap in, folks.
Top Flight against the Bucks. Okay. One, if you didn't think Top Flight was going to get the win right off the bat, you haven't been watching because they just took 2 hard-fought losses, to the BCC.
Mm-hmm.
These are the darlings of AEW. They can't be buried 3 weeks, 3 matches in a row. Okay? Boom. So, they're getting the win. What really solidified that they were getting the win is your new 6-man fucking tag team champions came to the ring without their titles. So by the time they get in the ring, do their shit, it's the Young Bucks. It's the first match back since June of being a tag team. You've now buried the goddamn titles that they just fought 2 months for because they're not on TV because they don't want you to remember that they're champions when the AEW darlings beat them to keep them relevant.
Mm.
Don't fucking have the match.
Yeah.
Because you just buried 2/3 of your trio's champions.
Yep.
And I don't give a shit that you are all for Top Flight. Bring the Malkies out. Give them a win, a quick win over enhancement talent. Where is Fuego and whatever the guy's name is, Captain Chaos Luther or whatever? They need to start back at the bottom. They just got 2 ass beatings by the BCC. How did the Young Bucks get on their fucking schedule?
Yeah.
And how did the Young Bucks get them on their schedule? You've not had a tag team match. They should also be fighting Luther and Fuego. Hello. I didn't like this. And then there's also the Bucks and Luchas. I'll watch that shit until the day I die. The Bucks and FTR. Top Flight's just not there yet to be doing that type of match.
Yeah.
It's the Bucks.
Yeah. I can't disagree. You know what? I really got nothing on this. I get where you're coming from with it. I think, yeah, now looking back I didn't realize how little they brought up the trios titles in that.
Yeah.
That is an interesting. I didn't even think about it in that perspective. So I agree with you on that. I'm gonna punt my opinion on this because I agree with you because I hadn't even thought of that. They didn't bring the titles out on purpose. They barely mentioned them on purpose because of, hey, if they're gonna beat the Young Bucks, we can't have them beating a champion per se, because then it puts in, oh, maybe AR Fox can join them and they can get a trios title match or something like that.
Anybody want to see that yet?
Not really. But I think that also begs the question is, where's Kenny Omega in all of this? Is he gone for 2 months now and we're just not going to recognize him or acknowledge him? Or, you know what I mean? So I think that plays into it as well of, we can't have them beating a recognized champion on our show. So we're going to try to bury the fact that they're champions for as long as possible till Kenny comes back and then say, oh, maybe we'll give him a title shot with AR Fox, just a one-off one.
Oh.
Well, they did it before with
Mark's
Death
angry.
Triangle.
Mark's angry about it. No, I know.
So
No. Bad storytelling. Bad. Where's your hand? Let me see your hand. Slap.
great wrestling, bad storytelling.
And then they're all the way back at the beginning of Dynamite. Cassidy against Lethal. Man, I'm an old fucking guy. There was way too much stuff happening to even care about who was going to win this match.
To be honest, I agree. I didn't care about who won it. I was just popping at the antics. You had Danhausen as a ticket taker.
Right.
Nobody could come into the ringside. Then you have fucking Chuck and Trent coming across the front row with fucking big gallon jugs of beer.
How pissed would you have been if you actually paid for those? This is actually now your wide shit spilling.
Fill it everywhere.
Like Homer Simpson walking to a game.
There's so much shit going on. I mean, and then Danhausen playing fucking Wonderwall in the middle of the fucking arena.
The match was thirdary. You know how you say secondary?
Yeah.
The match was third, fourth, fifth on this list of shit they care about.
Well, this is how little they cared about it. It was a one segment match, guys. This was like 5, 7, 10 minutes, maybe tops.
With some of the greatest work. I love Cassidy. I think Jay Lethal is amazing.
Yeah.
Like in the ring. Like they're great workers. Tell me one thing that happened in the match.
I can't. I think Cassidy won.
Kept the title. That's all I have written. I'm like, Cassidy kept the title.
Also, I'm going to put this out there. How fucking longer are we getting Jeff Jarrett around? I just cannot stand him.
Love Jeff Jarrett. I do.
Yeah.
What's he there for now?
Just to make angry faces and smash people with guitars. That's legitimately the only reason he's there right now. Like, I love Jeff Jarrett too, but this is like, all right, you're not adding anything to this. Sanjay's adding more than what Jarrett did.
Satnam's not adding anything either. I'm sorry.
Satnam's just standing there being there. Can we get him in some action here? He looked pretty good when he wrestled before. Let's put him in more matches. Let's get him going.
The Book of Hobbs can take on Satnam because both of them are just treading water right now.
Let's have them become a tag team. Let's see how that goes.
That's probably the second book of Hobbs.
Satnam and Hobbs. Satnam Hobbs.
What's the caricatures? The cartoon character.
Are you thinking Calvin and Hobbs?
Yes.
Yeah. Boy and his tiger.
Satnam.
Satnam and Hobbs.
Hobbs has to be a tiger. Well, he'd have to be a jaguar. So we're not stealing complete.
Really, yeah.
But at least trickles back to the NFL.
Exactly. It ties back to Tony Khan's connection to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yeah.
So he's a jaguar.
He's a jaguar. Satnam and Hobbs.
I'm done.
Well, we just made the next killer movie TV series with Satnam and Hobbs. So I think that's it. We just wrapped this up for the week and come back next week.
Listen, next week we'll be back doing a lot of WWE next week. We'll probably do less AEW because this is one of our favorite pay-per-views.
Yep.
I don't know if we're going to break down 1 to 30 across all men and women. give you some surprises that we think. Like I already gave you Nick Aldis. I think he's going to be there. Others, Cody Rhodes isn't a surprise. Who we think is going to win, how it transitions to essential WrestleMania, because their sign fucking pointing season's right around the corner.
It's already here. It starts next week, guys.
It does. So get your fingers out. Get your sign pointings out.
Get those exercises in. Get them finger exercises in.
So we'll have all of that. We'll have fun with that. Make sure you watch it. You're ready. You have a big Royal Rumble party. You know, girlfriend's coming up, right?
I'm going down. I'll be going down there.
Right.
Yeah, I'll be going down there. God bless your neighbors, because I'm going to be hooting and hollering. She knows, and she doesn't know fully what's going to come and hit her next week, but
beverages on next week's show. I'm going to have beverages set up for myself. Like, this is one that, like, I don't like inviting people over. Like, I love some people coming over, watch wrestling with me. I'll text you. I'll text some other people, but you don't come. Please don't come to my house during Royal Rumble. I want to sit in the studio, just watch it.
Lose your mind.
8, 7, 6. Ah! Get pissed off when, you know, Nick Aldis comes out at number 2 instead of 28. I don't know. What else do you have planned, dude?
For this upcoming week? My God. Nothing really exciting. I think it's just geared up for Rumble week, to be honest, this week. I got nothing really on the agenda for the next week. Yeah, what about you?
2 basketball games, and then that's about it.
Yeah, this week is going to be pretty straightforward at night.
Yeah. Got already shit in the hopper, so there's no actual recordings either. So good to go.
Yeah.
Maybe video games.
Maybe. Yeah. It's been a long time since I played video games.
Me too. Like, I'm looking. Get ready. It's that time of the season for Mark, too. I'm looking for a new game. Like, I've come to terms. I'm not buying baseball this year.
Okay.
No baseball. I played it enough. I'm good with it. I have last year's. Nothing's going to change. Nothing is going to change on it. I won't buy Madden because I'm pissed off.
Yeah.
College has got bumped, so nobody's getting any football out of me. Really, the next, I'm waiting for Fight Forever. But it showed up now finally on PlayStation.
Oh, did it? I haven't looked yet.
It's wish list, not pre-order. I don't know. That's the only thing I'm waiting for right now.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll buy fucking Lawnmower Simulator, and I'm joking.
Gear up for WWE 2K23. They just teased that now. Whenever that comes out.
Am I going to play it?
I don't know. So that's the thing. 2022 loved it for the first couple months, and then I'm kind of like, I haven't returned to it.
Not at all.
It's just, you know what? I'll probably return to it this weekend because I love playing Rumble matches on it, especially around Rumble time. So,
but 8 hours of Rumble matches and you're done. See you next year.
The amount of Rumble matches I play is
disgusting. I agree.
That's just what I play because I'm like, I don't really want to do one-on-one. I just want to let's play the Rumble. And now I can do it in different arenas. So why not fucking do it in different arenas? And so I don't know.
Be surprised when you come out and see if you can make it to 30.
Yep.
I did once.
I almost did that with Macho Man. I was pissed. You know what threw me out? Andre the Giant at 30. I was right there on the cusp. He fucking threw me out. I was pissed.
Bastard.
Sucks.
All right. Let's wrap this up. Guys, if anything, if you didn't listen to this whole episode, I don't know how you made it to here. Go
Thanks for using the time machine, guys.
Whatever. Go back and listen to segment 1 again. We love you. And really, really, live your life. I'm smiling now at the end of this because this is what I love to do. And it takes my yin and his yang to get there. Push through. Chase your waterfalls. Follow your arrow. And,
live life to the fullest.
And remember, just because you're trash doesn't mean you can't do great things. It's called a garbage can, not a garbage cannot.
Make sure you tell your loved ones that you love them.
Because you never know.